It is the year 1578. Deep in a tropical jungle, Aztec, Mayan, and Incan warriors fight alongside native Filipinos. They are locked in combat against a force of Turks, Egyptians, Somalis, and Malay expeditionary warriors. The Castilian War was a global conflict fought entirely within the borders of the modern-day Philippines. How did armies from the Americas, Europe, Africa, and the Middle East end up crossing swords over a chain of islands in Southeast Asia, centuries before modern global warfare? Western history often frames Ferdinand Magellan's arrival in 1521 as a moment of discovery, but the explorer did not find an isolated stretch of land waiting to be placed on a map. The Philippines acted as a geopolitical magnet, drawing empires from across the globe into a series of collisions that defined its history for the next 4 centuries. The human footprint here spans 60,000 years, beginning with groups arriving by raft and boat. By 4000 BC, successive waves of Austronesian speakers settled across the archipelago, building a vast maritime society. This network evolved into tribal groups, harbor civilizations, and plutocracies governed by trade. They established routes reaching into India and mainland Asia to exchange gold, glass, and agate. The Laguna copperplate inscription, dated to 900 AD, records a debt clearance in Manila Bay using blended Hindu and Old Malay cultural influences. Indigenous tribes waged guerrilla warfare for decades, eventually pushing out the Majapahit forces to reclaim their independence. In the late 14th century, a new influence arrived. Arab traders and Middle Eastern missionaries began traveling to Sulu, introducing Islam to the region. The religion spread through conversion and marriage into local royal families. These alliances led to the rise of powerful, independent Islamic sultanates in Sulu and Maguindanao. Long before Western contact, the region was a collection of Hindu, Buddhist, and Islamic states, each maintaining its own laws and military defenses. Ferdinand Magellan's 1521 expedition marked the start of Spanish interest, though his attempt to claim the islands ended in his death during a battle with the local ruler, Lapu-Lapu. Spanish colonization began in earnest in 1565. Miguel López de Legazpi arrived from Mexico, establishing Manila as the capital of the Spanish East Indies. Through diplomacy and military force, Spain unified thousands of semi-autonomous islands into a single political structure. They introduced European legal codes and stone architecture, replacing local wood and thatch structures with colonial designs. The Castilian War of 1578 was the friction point of this unification, a collision between a nascent Catholic state and established Muslim networks supported by the Ottoman Empire. Spanish rule fused global religions, Western law, and European architecture with the existing Asian foundation. By the end of the 19th century, the islands changed hands. As the Spanish Empire declined, the United States claimed the territory in 1898, bringing a new militarized presence to the region. The U.S. established an insular government, and by 1935, created the Philippine Commonwealth as a transition toward full independence. World War II interrupted this transition. In 1942, Japanese forces occupied the islands, demonstrating the archipelago's ongoing strategic importance to global powers. Following the 1945 liberation, the Treaty of Manila established the independent Philippine Republic in 1946. Even in the modern age, the archipelago remained a vital battlefield for global superpowers competing for influence in the Pacific. The early years of independence under Presidents Roxas and Quirino were marked by internal skirmishes with communist partisans and a continuing economic reliance on the United States. Political stability collapsed when Ferdinand Marcos took power in 1965. His rule eventually led to a decade of martial law and widespread unrest. In 1986, the Filipino people removed Marcos from power during the People Power Revolution, reclaiming their democratic institutions. President Corazon Aquino and her successors have since worked to stabilize the modern republic. The Philippines today is a living archive, the result of 60,000 years of indigenous growth, Asian empires, Islamic networks, and Western colonizers colliding on its shores.